Hey everybody, it's Strict9 with Strict9 GP, and I'm back with another episode of my UAB Blazers playthrough with Draft Day Sports College Basketball 2020. Going to get ready for the conference schedule today. Hopefully, sim through anywhere from 6 to 9 games. Depends on the time we have. I know it bounces back and forth. Just depends on what happens between games, but we'll see. I'd at least get through the first 6. But I want to give a rundown of where we are as a team first, and then we'll get started on simming some games. So when I left you in the last episode, we had gone through the first 8 games of that non-conference schedule, and we were 4-4. Had some, I would say, of the next 3 games, we had some pretty tough competition. We wound up losing 2 of 3 to finish 5-6 in that non-conference schedule, and I don't know if I'm feeling overconfident. I thought about that after I finished that last game, which was a loss to San Diego on the road. I'm not feeling bad about that record, and maybe I should, because we're going to have a better season by far, really, in conference this year than we did last year to equal what we did last year, which was 17-15, I think, overall, but 16-13 at the end of the regular season. Finished 9-9 in conference, which was good enough to finish above middle of the pack. So this is still a young team. I mean, we're depending a lot on Horton, senior power forward, but outside of him, we've got some good play from some young guys, specifically Campbell at point guard, but he's been inconsistent. It could wind up being a pretty tough year. I mean, if we finish 9-9, for instance, I mean, that would probably be good enough again to finish in the top half of the conference rankings, or standings. But we would finish with a losing record regular season. So I've always kind of flip-flopped on the non-conference schedule, whether it should be tough, easy, balanced. I thought I was getting a balanced schedule this year, but really, I think it was tougher than like an evenly balanced schedule. I mean, Duke on the road, LSU on the road, Iowa in that Golden State Classic, Vanderbilt on the road. That's almost 4 easy losses right there. But to our credit, we played some of these teams close. For instance, Iowa, just a 7-point loss. Even Vanderbilt went to overtime. That was the 9th game of the season, so you guys didn't get to see that, but we played them pretty tight. They just, more than likely, we were tired and just kind of blew it in OT. Some good play, though, from most of the team, really balanced in this game. So that's where we're at as the conference schedule takes hold. I think it's going to show really early how good we are, because we've got North Texas at home, but we got 2 pretty tough road games. The first 6 games are really going to tell what this team's made of. I wanted to look at the stats too, just to show you. I think scoring is a little bit better this year when it comes to the guards. Horton leading the way, but you got McCleary, finally a shooting guard who's racking up some points on this team, and then Campbell. I've been really impressed with him. He's averaging 5 assists, almost 12 points a game. I hope when we get into the conference season schedule that he keeps that going, and maybe if I look at his logs, I mean, he's played some good games against some tough teams, but against the level of competition we're going to see in the conference, I'm hoping that he'll have a good season. And really, when he plays bad, I think it's a sign. When he's having a poor performance, this team doesn't do too well. I mean, his game against San Diego was probably his worst game of the year. And we lost that one close. It was a close game, but I'm thinking that he's a pretty decent player. I mean, he was rated highly. He's from out of state. I hope I can keep him. We're going to have a good season, I guess, to keep him. But rounding out the scoring with Y, who's, he's averaging 6.5 rebounds. Horton, by the way, 7 rebounds. But Y is actually, way up on rebounds this year. So I'm really happy with the way he's playing for the most part. Scoring is looking pretty good from that starting lineup. We still have problems with small forward, and it's just a toss-up, really, if you want to go with Martin, who's a sophomore, or with 4-star potential, or the freshman Jones, who's also got 4-star potential. His current ratings just aren't there, so give him some time. If we're struggling, the back half of that conference schedule, I may give him more starts. I did that with McCleary last year, for instance, and I think it really helped him coming into this season on his development. So we'll see if we have to do that. Hopefully, though, I'm just hoping that we play well. And one of the things I really like looking at under the Insights tab is the lineup tracking. So you can see the starting 5 here getting most of the minutes, obviously. Plus or minus is really good. The net, considering that they're getting most of the play time, putting in most of the minutes, 24.2, I can live with that. I think, it's one of those things where I feel like when you start rotating some of these guys like Matthews in for Y at center, I mean, we're staying pretty strong for the most part. I'm not seeing anything that really bothers me too much right now. I do still think that we've got the best starting 5 out there, and hopefully it'll show as the season goes on. I'm really liking the field goal percentage with that starting lineup out there, almost 50%. So hopefully we keep that going. But that's where we're at. Recruits already signed their letters of intent. We've got a couple 3-stars and a 1-star. I'm hoping this will change. It usually fluctuates a little bit throughout the season. We're still just in January, so we're fairly early in terms of the high school season. So I've seen these guys get a little bit better as time goes on. I'm hoping that's going to be the case. But hopefully next year really we'll bounce back and have a better recruiting season. Let's go ahead and get it started. I'm going to probably sim a week at a time, stop for air games. We've got a game here today. Let's sim this one out until we get to my game. I apologize, my voice is a little weak today. All right, so both of us coming in 5 and 6. North Texas have been one of the dominant teams in this conference since I started the playthrough. So we need a win to start, and we don't. 96-79. And that's what I'm afraid of. I'll be honest. I'm really afraid that this team is. I know we're not ready for the conference championship, 21 season. I'm starting to worry that we're not really as good as we were last year, even though there's not much that's changed from last year. But you look at the individual performances; they just had a great second half. Blew us out in the second half. Scored more points in the paint. Looks like rebounds. They out-rebounded us. Shooting, we were 50%. They were 57%. So not a good defensive performance from us at all. They made 7 more field goals. Individually, Y was pretty good. 17 points, 5 rebounds. Horton, that's his average for the most part in points, but we really need a good play from Campbell and McCleary, and didn't get it off the bench. Matthews looked pretty good. Miles, who is a shooting guard, freshman, may have some future here. He's a long way away from being a starter, but man, that's a disappointing way to start it out. Now we got 2 road games. I think one Florida International are coming off a pretty decent season. So, it's always just a toss up until you start playing when you've got the kind of teams that I've been building here, because we're not to the point where we got five guys with three stars or better, and that's what I want. I'm looking to get to a point where we got a team that's been around for a while, and the ratings look good. See, Florida International 9-3. I think they had a pretty weak schedule. I may have looked at that last episode, but we're in danger of going 0-2 really quick, and we are 81-73. Looks like the three people who I'm depending on led us in scoring, but we're struggling defensively. Kind of a surprise. That's not something that this team has really had troubles with. So let's take a look. I think that was the seventh. Boy, that's pitiful. Where is that score? Here it is. 73-81. Again, we're losing it in the second half. 50-40. They outscored us. Horton, a good game, 9 rebounds, 16 points, so almost a double-double. Same with Y, 8 rebounds, 12 points. Campbell, not a lot of assists, and he's thrown the ball up a lot. 14 attempts off the bench, and not much to say about that. You look at the team stats, and it's fairly close. We out-rebounded them. Shooting, they were just a little bit better, just made one more free throw, but their three-point shooting probably put them over the edge. But I'm curious, depth chart, do I need to adjust anything in that second half? So we got Campbell playing a lot of time here. Excuse me, McCleary, Martin. Martin's playing a lot of time down the stretch. Is he the weak link? Let me look at his game logs. His plus or minus has been pretty poor, getting 22 minutes per game. And then who have I got here? Backing him up, Jones. He's getting 14 minutes. I don't really want to put him in there much more than that right now. So I'm going to ride it out a little bit longer. Unfortunately, after that North Texas loss at home, we drew a tough team. So now let's see if we can get it back going. Back to simming the week out. But I really came away offline after finishing that non-conference schedule. I started having my doubts. They started kind of showing up there, and so we got to really turn it around. With a 5-6 record, if we finish a game better than last year, that's 17-12. That means we got to go 12-8. I think. 12-6 in conference. So now we got Middle Tennessee on the road. Could be tough to beat them on the road, but this is one we've really got to win this one. I really think we need it. They're 0-2 in conference as well. Finally, we get the win we need. We win it with defense, 64-56. Not a lot of scoring on the team here. So in terms of team play, not a great shooting performance, but 44%. I can take that average if we're winning. 14 of 18 from the free throw line. We out-rebounded them. We really held them down shooting-wise, back up there with points in the paint. That's how we're going to win with this team and this offense. Campbell was a player of the game, 11 points, 5 assists. He led us in scoring. the rest of the team struggled, except maybe where it counts was plus minus. And then off the bench, nobody's looking really extremely good. Matthews got a lot of play time because Horton, Matthews is backing up Horton, power forward. Not the greatest choice, but he does give me some pretty decent defensive ratings, so I'll take that. Hopefully this will be enough of a win to help us turn it around, though. We need a good streak is what we need. We need a good 5-6 game winning streak. I think for me, where I'm at, I'd really like 10 wins in the conference. And I don't know. I don't know if this is good. This team's good enough to do it. That would be 15-14 going into the tournament. May not get us into the postseason tournament. And I say going into the Conference USA tournament. It might not get us like last year, the CIT tournament. But all right, so Louisiana Tech, who I think beat us last year down the stretch. They're probably good competition. Thankfully, we got them at home. They're 2-1 in conference. Pretty sure they're probably rated to beat us, but they do. 79-66. So there's trouble. There's trouble here. Campbell leads us in scoring again, but Horton, he's their best player, and he's not really a dominant player, so they might be doubling him up. It's hard to say, but that's, we're 0-2 in the conference at home. Man, that is not good. So we got dashboard looking at the upcoming games. Who do we have? We got Florida Atlantic, Marshall, Florida International. Wow, that's pretty bad. That's really bad. Are we going to be able to pull this together? Now, last year we did this and turned it around down the stretch, but it was mainly because we had a tough early schedule. I don't think this is a tough early schedule. I mean, we played, looking at the standings, first 4 games, we've had North Texas at home. Well, they're doing good. We've had Louisiana Tech. They're both 3-1. Florida International, we're the only team they've beaten. We did beat Middle Tennessee, who are 0-4. We're way down there. We got to get this. We got to get this turned around. So, and I am staying the course right now. That's one of the things I found out with Penn State when I was with that team in the playthrough. I think it pays to come up with a system that you think matches, or at least matches the team that you have, and ride it out, because especially a young team, I had problems with that team tinkering with it early on. I think same with Austin P. I did that a lot after our first season and never really had that great of a success. So that's what, one of the things I'm really focused on is staying with the system, the personnel that I have. So we're going to probably, it's going to either burn us or it's going to pay off down the road. So here we got Rice. They're Florida Atlantic. Sorry, they're 2-2 in conference. We're at home. We need this. This could be our first home win, and we don't get it. Yeah, it's 60-59. I'm really thinking we're in for a tough year. Probably what we did the first season that I took this team over. I'm hoping that's going to be okay, but I think it was a good defensive performance. We just didn't shoot that well. We're not, 3-pointers not falling for us. Looking at the starting lineup, I mean, Horton, since he has gotten into conference play, he hasn't looked all that great. And then Campbell was really shut down this game. I mean, all my starters got the minutes they needed. Martin's still that weak link. It's small forward. It's the weak link for us. Jones looked better in some ways off the bench, but just 2 points. We outscored him in the paint. This is one of those that's kind of hard to figure out what happened. I mean, we are losing again in the second half. Again, with that depth chart, I mean, who would be the odd man out? I want to give Horton as many minutes as I can give him, but do I need to rest him a little bit? He's going 6. Maybe I should rest him right here. Just a little bit, just to see if that has any bearing on this. And then, is there another power forward? Thomas, he's a senior, but he doesn't give you much. I don't really want to put him out there. Now, who else? Martin, again, 14. He's at 8 straight minutes, but he's coming off, some rest. Would it be good to give him some time off? Who's another small forward that we have? Kitchens, who's a junior walk-on. Miles, a freshman. You know what? I might just try him right here. It's maybe risky. Or would I go with Wilson, junior? So Miles, yeah, I'm gonna go with Miles in this. Call me crazy, but I'm gonna put him small forward right there. And then McCleary, giving him a break, and then those 4 minutes. See if that does anything. So let's get back to playing here. We may actually get through more games than I'm thinking. So we're up against the wall right now, though. 1-4. We need to, to finish 10-8, we'd have to go 9-4 now down the stretch. And we did close to that. We were 7-2 last season in our last 9 games, but this team is really struggling now. I'm still wanting to stick with this offense, but next year, I mean, we might, maybe later in the season even, we might start. This is probably going to be a loss too, but we may start mixing in some flex offenses because I know some of the guys that I recruited have that ability. I hate to even click the button because we're about to go 1-5. I'm afraid. No, thankfully, 64-60, close, man, nail biters. Horton double. Campbell, really good line I think from him. That was a good win. But am I right? I want to look at the standings after the box score here, because I think we've only won one home game in conference, or maybe none. I don't even know. So I think that was the 21st. I mean, it can't. This was probably the biggest win so far of the conference, and it was close. I mean, 2 points ahead in the first half, 2 in the second. Horton, player of the game. He's won a lot of those. He's just a well-rounded player in this conference. Martin, shutout. Jones looked really pretty good in this game off the bench. Decent. Campbell, good free throw shooter. If he goes to the line, that's a good sign. McCleary, though, his shooting is not there. 11.5 points now. He's averaging a game, but field goes 40%. 3-pointers, what is he? 42%. I'm hoping he'll get a little bit better. And he's definitely a better outside shooter. I don't know if I should tell him to shoot less threes because I can live with that from the shooting guard. I can live with those kind of numbers. Team-wise, free throw shooting was off, but defensively we really held them. And they only went to the line 6 times. We out-rebounded them, dominated in the paint. That's what we need to see. I'm going to check the emails here, but I'm pretty sure this is just going to be some scouting reports. Charlotte, Western Kentucky. What I wanted to look at was the standings because it's a quick glance anyway at, we are down near the bottom. So we are 4-4 at home. That's troubling. We're 7-10 overall, and I don't know that's gonna, like I say, be hard to turn around. We need a couple good wins here, though. That's what we need. 2-4 in conference. Jeez, if we could just get two more wins to kind of start feeling better about things here. One of the things, too, I was going to mention this episode, Draft Day Sports is put out by Wolverine Studios, who's the developer of the game, and I noticed that they're having some live streams, I think, on Twitch, and they're uploading those recordings to YouTube is where I saw them. But they're talking about the new game, and there are some from what I've seen, some interface updates, some UI updates, those kind of things, and some other things that are pretty cool on the back end and with stats. The Insights has a really cool thing that they're promoting. I don't know yet, and I'm hoping this will work. This is the first version I've really gotten into with this game, so I'm not 100% sure, but my hesitancy on what I'll do with that game would be if I can upload this league into that newer version, then I'll get that one, continue playing this playthrough. But like I say, I'm really wanting to stay with this one team for a while. So I don't necessarily want to pick up the new version unless I know that it's going to be compatible with this old save. So if anybody knows that offhand, if you're watching, you want to put that in the comments, let me know. But from what I've seen, it's probably going to be enough of an upgrade if you're into this game to pick it up. I think it's some player cards, for instance, have changed. There are some tweaks here and there that are probably going to make it a little bit better. So this game, Florida International, we're home. This would be such a great home win for us. Please win. Please win. Yes. 78-60. Best win in conference so far. Convincing win. Daniels off the bench. I'm hoping that's not a sign that anybody was injured. I'm going to check the dashboard real quick. Nope. And was that the 25th? So team stats, again, a good defensive game. This is the way we were playing last year. This is what we have to do, I think, to keep it going. We held them to 33% shooting. We out-rebounded them 36-26. We shot over 50%. Yeah, we're throwing up the threes, but I kind of want these young guys to do that right now. Maybe I'm stupid, but I want to see if they can develop something. Horton was really shut out on this one. 4 fouls. He got in foul trouble. That's why Daniels is player of the game. He got a lot of play time. 16 points, 8 rebounds, plus 11. And then, Martin, maybe his best game. I can check that real quick. Best game in conference so far. 11 points. He's only been in double digits in points twice. He's a +9. what was 3 steals, couple assists, couple rebounds. Guy's just a sophomore with four-star potential. I'd like to see him develop, because if I get him, if I get the guards developing with him, I got that big center coming in next year. I mean, we'll have, there's positives here, I think. Other than that, I mean, Campbell, 4 assists, McCleary, 5 assists, and then Wide, 9 rebounds. Pretty good bench play when we needed it. Jones is, he's not looking bad off the bench. He wants to play. Looks like he's a good guy. So I'm hoping that he's getting enough play time to develop. That's pretty good, I think, for a freshman, getting that much time off the bench. But that gives us. So what have we done here? Is that 3 in a row that we've won? Is that really impossible? No, we've won 2 in a row, and we're going up against North Texas, who are probably, they were 3-1 at one time, but I don't see us beating this team on the road. Gosh, come on, revenge. This is what we need. We need this one, because if we're going back to 3-5, that's going to be a setback. But let's just play it out, see what happens. If we just keep some kind of, we really need a winning streak is what we need. But I was going to say, if we can just get some momentum and keep that momentum going, I feel a lot better about us. But God, I'm really scared on this one too. Yeah, 94-70, they dominated. Dave Horton back in the scoring, 29 points, but he may have been the offense in this one. I think that maybe it's either tied for his career high or 30 points. I think that might. I've never seen him get 30, so that would be nice to see if he could get 30 before he ends his career with us. But man, 3-5. So I'm probably gonna send him out one more game, which is half the schedule. They really just trounced on us early, and we couldn't get back in the game. Shooting 47%, not bad, but 52 for them. Went to the line way more. Out rebounded us way, almost doubled up really. Points in the paint, we got that, but you look at their, Gandy here, their point guard. Great game from this guy, scoring wise. 26 points. You have great bench play from him. That's how they won it. For us, Horton was it, 29 points. I think that is his career high. You can't ask much more from him than that, really. 29 points, 7 rebounds. Martin, ineffective for the most part. And it could be, too, the offenses that I'm running, it just, small forward may not be a big part of it. I don't know how, if you guys have any suggestions, how you get small forwards involved, what kind of offense would get him involved. He's proficient in motion, high post, triangle. Those are the ones I'm running. And that's a lot of that's because, he's getting the practice time and now the play time under those offenses. But I'm hoping that's good enough, to get him some scoring opportunities. Other than him, Y was shut down. Campbell, 4 assists, 9 points. McCleary, just 2 of 8 shooting. Not a good game from him. Campbell now, 11.5 points, 4.5 assists. The assists are going down. But I still like this guy's play as a freshman. Matthews, 10 points off the bench. Hopefully we got a good game coming up. That's all I can say. If we do, 4-5 in conference. I mean, we could flip it pretty easily depending on the schedule that we have down the stretch. But this reminds me so much of that first season that I had with this team, where I really thought we were in trouble, coming off that conference schedule. And we definitely were in trouble that year. We're 2-9, but somehow we turned it around in conference. So at this point, 9-9 would be in conference would be an achievement. We would have to win 7 of our last 8. Sorry, I'm not reading that right. We'd have to win 7 of our last 10 to finish with a 10 wins and an above 500 record. So it's starting to look pretty iffy. Western Kentucky's pretty strong in conference. I mean, this will probably, this will be it. I mean, if we lose this one, we're going to have a bad season. And we do win 84-71. Pretty convincing win. That's pretty nice. A balanced line there from 3 key players. Let's take a look at the box score. All right, so team-wise, we shot 50%. Went to the free throw line a lot. Rebounds were close. We need some better free throw shooting. We were better last year. That's probably, where's that coming from? Why it wasn't too good? I'm really not sure where that was coming from. I mean, it's just 27 of 38 is mainly why, but he's the center. I kind of expect that, but we were disciplined. They didn't go to the line too much, but points in the paint went to Western Kentucky. Horton, again, player of the game, 13.6 rebounds, but I think, you could have given it to Y or even Campbell. Both those guys with 13 points. Martin, once again, 4 assists, 4 rebounds. That's worth something. Jones scoring more off the bench. I mean, he's sore now. He's got a small injury. He'll probably be okay. I don't think. Man, I don't know what to do with that small forward position. Again, you guys have any suggestions? Let me know. It's just been like that with this team since I took him over. It could very well just be that the talent at that position is just not there, because I think at Penn State my best players were small forwards for a season or two. Daniels looked good off the bench. He's a senior now. Luckily he's likable enough that he's okay with his play time, but he started the first season I was with this team. He started at center, and you can see he wasn't good enough scoring wise, but I do like his defense. Off the bench, he's looked pretty good. So a good win, and that's probably a good way to end this episode, because if I'm looking at the dashboard, we have now won 3 of 4, 4 of 7, so a winning record in the last 7 games. And that's what we're going to have to do. We got Charlotte coming up, Rice, UTEP, Texas El Paso on the road. And then the schedules just don't favor us. We're only playing Old Dominion once, and they're at home. So we got Southern Miss, another tough team, usually at home. If I'm looking at the standings, so we got Charlotte on the road, and they're having a good year. That's going to be tough. We got these 2 teams coming up. We've got Texas, San Antonio, Middle Tennessee, Southern Miss. Old Dominion's not doing too well this year. So we're 4-5 in conference. Man, it is really jumbled this season. Really jumbled up. So what I'm really looking to do now with the rest of the season, can we get 5 wins and salvage something? Because then maybe we go into the tournament and have a good run, win a couple, and look okay. Charlotte may not be a one we can win. Texas San Antonio, hopefully. Southern Miss, Middle Tennessee, maybe that's 3. And then we got to win two more. How was Rice again? We got to win 2 more probably on the road. Rice is going to be a tough one. I'm really hoping Charlotte is maybe they're just they're on a really good streak. They beat Old Dominion on the road. Yeah, they may be tough. They got some decent balance for this conference. Who else we got? Charlotte, Rice. They beat Old Dominion on the road. So it's going to be iffy. It really is. I mean, best case scenario, we do what we did last year. We win 6. We won 7 and 9 last year. If we did that, it would really turn this season around. It would give us what I was hoping we would do, finish 11 and 7 in conference. I don't foresee that happening. 5 and 4 would help us out a little bit, but that might be the best we can hope for. But as always, you don't know until you send them out. You never know how it's going to play. So at least we're looking a little bit better. I'm feeling a little bit better about where we're at. But next 3 games are going to tell. If we need to win 2 of these 3, and that means we're going to have to beat one tough team on the road. And if we can't do that, I think finishing above 500 this season is going to be out. But we'll see. As always, I appreciate you guys watching the videos, supporting the channel. Hope you enjoy it still. Trying still to have some time. I mean, I'm just so crushed for time outside of doing this, and I'd really like to add some more games, different games to the channel. I know that I started out with Out of the Park Baseball. I'm sure when the new version comes out, I'll be putting up some videos of that. But, for the moment, I'm really enjoying this one. It's college basketball season. I'm really probably more into college basketball than college football at this point. And I really enjoy what I see from this game. I'm hoping you are too. And I really like the tips and stuff I get from you guys. This has kind of been a learning experience for me. I'm not I think I'm getting a little bit better handle on recruiting, if I have the resources for it. But I'm not an expert by any means at this game. I'm still learning it. But I appreciate you guys watching. Hope you get something from it. And I will see you next episode.